Hey everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
getting comfortable. Hi, welcome. My name's Ian. Welcome to the session. Glad to see you've already made yourself comfortable sitting down. Does anyone need refreshment or anything?
No, thank
Can I
you.
get you a drink? Do you want a drink, Sam?
Good, I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
Can I have
brilliant.
some water?
Yeah, sure. Hang on a sec.
Oh, thank you. That's
Is that
nice.
okay?
Yeah, that's
Right.
perfect, thank you.
So today I'm going to be teaching you guys some of the beginning stages of our level 3 in health and safety in the workplace. And it's not too serious, nothing too in depth. I'm going to be going through it at your pace, and really nothing to worry about. Going to help you with anything that you need. Make sure you put your hand up if you're not sure about anything. So this knowledge is essential for your role, so it's mandatory. But at the same time, the fact that you are here means anything that you feel you would like to learn, I'd like to shape this lesson around you. Okay. So as an icebreaker, I'd just like everyone to basically introduce themselves to the group. Does anyone here already know each other?
No.
No?
No.
Okay,
No.
brilliant. So this will be a great little way for us to sort of start to get to know each other, and just to say our names, where we're from, what we do, and one extra little bit is I thought we could say where we last went on holiday.
Before
Okay.
the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. People, yeah, we have to
Can't
forget.
remember.
Let's just forget about the pandemic. It never happened.
Fast
And
forward. a
I'm
couple of
fine.
You
years.
know, sometimes when I'm leading a training session, people say, I've never been on holidays. Let's just say your ideal holiday. Where would you like to have gone?
Okay.
Okay, so my name's Ian, and I'm from Falmouth in Cornwall, and I'm an employment specialist, so I help people that are looking for work really shape their profiles so they can find a better job and help them with interview skills. And my last holiday was just this weekend just gone. I went to St Agnes, which is pretty close to where I live, but the thing is I've never actually been there until now, so I really enjoyed that. Lots of fun. So would anyone like to go next?
Ooh, I think it's me. Hi, I'm Zoe.
Hi Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
everybody. I am a dental nurse and have been for too many years. I pass the dentist things and they hopefully don't throw it at me. And that's what I do.
Holiday?
Holiday. Recently, not really anywhere. The last time I went anywhere, I think, was France. And that was lovely.
Which part of France?
Oh, just near the Pyrenees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you, Zoe. Nice to meet you. Who's next?
I'll go next. I'm Sam.
Hi,
Hello,
Sam.
everybody. I'm 30 years old. I'm a musician. That's what I do for a living.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. And the last place I went on holiday was France, near the Pyrenees. funny
Oh,
enough.
weird,
Yeah,
weird.
Funny, yeah, a few places around this country, but
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sam. Nice
No
to meet
problem.
you.
Hello, I'm Layla. I'm from Spain, even though I do have a Welsh accent. And I am a lion tamer, believe it or not.
Wow.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
Wins for the most exciting job ever.
I do love cats, I
Oh,
have to say.
yeah.
I'll talk to you about that and answer any questions later.
Okay.
The last place I went on holiday was in France, near the Pyrenees. So
Wow.
That is weird.
that is very
That is
strange.
very
So
strange.
we all like that part of the world.
Yeah, France is
Indeed.
beautiful, isn't
where
it?
specifically?
Indeed. A little town called Navarance.
No way.
Oh.
You
Oh,
know
I've
where?
been
I
there.
went there too. I went there too.
Oh.
I know Navarance. Yeah. That's
Everyone
lovely.
knows Navarang.
Strange.
There you go.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is really weird.
Small world.
Mm.
That's
Small
brilliant.
world.
Small country.
So thank you, Layla. Thank you, everyone. And as you can see, like an icebreaker like that really just helps warm up the room and make people feel a bit more comfortable about who they're sitting next to. And also it helps me sort of get an idea of what you like and what kind of things you might need to know today. So thanks for sharing that personal stuff with me. Before we go any further, I'd just like to set some ground rules, because we're all in this room together. Especially in these days of COVID, we need to respect each other's space. Obviously there's not that much in here, so please let me know if you're feeling uncomfortable. And one of my ground rules like anywhere else, is if you've got your mobile phone. Oh, hi there, Zoe.
Oh, do you mind if I open windows
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a little
please
bit
do.
more?
Yeah,
Is that
no problem.
okay?
I'm
Just-
double jabbed, by the way.
Oh,
just so
that's
everyone
great.
knows.
Yeah,
And
me too.
boosted.
Me too. Triple.
Oh, lift it up a little. Push it in, lift it up.
Mm.
Let me help you then.
Yeah, I think I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Alright.
Layla.
No.
Teamwork is dream work.
That's it. There we are. Is that alright
Yeah.
for you, Sam?
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah,
No
that's
problem.
great.
So that's great. That's one of the perfect examples. Temperature. Like if anyone's feeling like they need something changed, just let me know. And we can sort of. I want to make this room comfortable for everyone.
Excellent.
Thanks very much. So yeah, if anyone's got their mobiles on them, please make sure they're on silent now.
Mine's in the cloakroom, but if it goes off, I'm willing to ignore it.
Just gonna
Okay,
turn mine
thank
down.
you. And if anyone does need to take an important call, then that's obviously fine. Just please let me know and you could leave the room.
Okay.
Given that we're only doing a half an hour session today, I'm not going to be holding any breaks.
Okay.
But of course, if anyone needs the loo or anything, just let me know. So in terms of housekeeping, also the toilets are just outside.
Okay.
And does anyone need to know any more about the
There-
toilets?
Are there any steps to the toilets?
Yes, there are. I see you are in a wheelchair. Sorry about that, but the thing is that I have a ramp, so if you need the toilet, I can just put the ramp out, and then you can get into the toilet. Is that all right?
Oh, that's really kind of you. Thank you so much. That's great.
No problem at all. So the fire exit's also just over there. So if you hear a fire alarm, then there probably is a fire because there aren't any drills due today.
Okay.
But I'm sure there probably won't be one, as long as we follow all the health and safety rules. Okay, so everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So I'd like to draw your attention to your workbooks, which I've provided you with there. These are designed for you to take notes as we go along, and so that you can see the key points in your learning, write down any answers as they come along, and it helps you because you can take those home at the end of the day and you've got something to look back on so you can remember stuff. Yes, Layla.
I have very poor eyesight.
Oh.
I can see your visual aids, but I can't read the workbook you have given me, I'm afraid.
Okay, thank you, Layla. That's great because I have some good news for you. You
Good.
see the laptop just in front of you, that
Yeah.
big dark shape that's near you. So that's designed for people such as yourself with sight issues of any kind, and that has
Okay.
some voice text messaging sort of apps and stuff. So you can read any of the text with the laptop, and that's all fine, no questions there.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Layla. So I'd like to
Nice
take
laptop,
a quick confidence scale, just to see how you guys are feeling about what you know already about health and safety in the workplace. So Zoe, for instance, if you had to put a number on it, on 1 to 5, how confident are you feeling about health and safety?
Probably, I don't know, probably about 2, I think.
Okay, 2?
Yeah,
I
one or
would say
2.
2 as well.
2 as well, Sam?
I'm going to say 5.
5?
Oh,
Okay, brilliant.
wow.
Pretty healthy, pretty safety.
Yeah, have you,
There's
have
always
you had...
one, isn't there?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
See if you can
Um,
teach him something new then.
So Sam, can I ask if you have experience with some health and safety issues in the workplace? yourself?
Never know.
No, okay, you've just sort of picked things up as you went along.
That's what I do.
Um,
Like a sponge.
Okay, brilliant. So thanks everyone, and that's really helpful. I'm going to use that later on by asking you again and just to reflect on what you've learned already. So now I'm going to tell you the objectives for this session.
Okay.
So firstly, by the end of this session, you will understand the key aspects of the law, and that's regarding health and safety. So it's the Health and Safety at Work Act 1978. Okay, the second objective is you will be able to explain the difference between the regulations. So the Act is sort of like a piece of law which is a structure around which there are various legislations that come up and they're added to that structure. And those regulations are RIDDOR, PPE and COSH. So we can look into that a bit later. You'll also be able to demonstrate some of the factors that affect health and safety at work. So those factors, the ones that I'm going to go into, are occupational, human and environmental. Excuse me a sec.
Excuse me.
Oh yes, hi Layla.
I am Spanish.
Okay, brilliant.
I am. My English isn't brilliant.
Yeah, I think
I'm
you do
worried
really well.
about some of the words.
Oh, yes.
I might not know. What is occupational?
That's okay. Thank you, Lola, for bringing that up. So, firstly, I'm going to try and use simple language so that you can understand as best you can. And there are quite a few big words, so just let me know at any point if anything like occupational pops up. I can explain what they mean. And occupational actually means something relating to your job. So, for instance, if you had an occupational accident, that would mean you had an accident in the lion cage.
Sick.
Yeah.
If you ever had-
Okay, comprende.
Very few little scripts.
Very good.
Cool.
So now we've looked at those objectives for this session. I was wondering if there's anyone that's got anything else that they particularly would like to learn about health and safety today. Any additional objectives that I can add to the list?
I would like to know what dangers there are in my workplace.
Oh, right, okay, thank you, Layla. So that's an interesting point. Can you tell me a bit about where you work? What's your
Yes,
job?
I work in a cage
Okay,
with lions.
wow.
That sounds
You know,
terrifying.
Fire.
Yeah,
Wow.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, sounds like there are a few risks there. So, yeah, that's really impressive. Okay, so can you tell me about how well the lions are trained? I mean, have you had any training yourself with what to do with those lions when they're
Yes,
aggressive?
when I first started, my boss gave me a handbook on lions.
Oh, that is nice of him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he's
Lovely
giving you a
stuff.
handbook.
I
Was
learned
it in
from-
Braille? 'Cause
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Good.
of course.
Spanish braille.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Spanish
okay.
Braille.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so are they well trained, these lions?
They haven't eaten me yet.
Okay, brilliant.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, absolutely no problem. Thanks for bringing that up. I will add that objective to our list.
Thank you.
So we're also going to look at dangers in the workplace. So thank you for that, Layla.
Okay.
Okay, so
Don't you think there's maybe a bit health and safety gone a bit mad sort of thing? You know what I mean? Like all these regulations and laws.
thank you, Sam. I know it can seem all a bit formal, a bit boring. It's not entertainment central here in health and safety in the workplace, but the thing is, accidents happen so often, even in day-to-day life, don't they?
Yeah.
And without this legislation, then imagine if your employer was at fault, you had an accident at your job, and it was because the employer hadn't bothered to sort things out for you properly,
Yeah.
provide you with the right equipment, the right kind of clothing. You'd be pretty annoyed, wouldn't you?
Sure.
But there'd be no legal reprimand for them. So
of
this is
course.
why we have these laws in place.
I
It's
see.
to protect you and to protect the public.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Can I just ask,
Yeah.
what are all these pictures about?
Yeah, thank you, Zoe. So these visual aids that you can see around the room, you're probably wondering, what are these health and safety objects all about? Well, they are aids that I've provided for you today to sort of stimulate the mind and help you take in some of the information that I'm providing for you. So thank you for bringing that up. And so, thank you, Zoe. Great question. I actually have some handouts. So don't worry, Layla. The handouts that I've given you all, the one for you, because you have a certain acquired taste, I have provided you with a Braille handout, and that should be everything you need.
Yes, that's
okay.
perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Spanish Braille.
Absolutamente.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
let's look at our first objective. Remember I listed those three and the additional one that Layla's given us. So it's to understand the key aspects of the law. So the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974 was an act of Parliament, and it's used to ensure that the Health and Safety at Work Act provides a framework against all future legislation. So who's responsible? Employers, like we said before, Sam, to your question, employees and the public.
Why are the public responsible?
Thank you, Zoe. So it's a good question, but let's imagine that, say you were on a plane, everyone would imagine that the pilot was a professional, that he was
You'd
following
hope
all
so,
the
yeah.
rules, you'd feel safe with him flying the plane. You'd know
You
that he
feel
was...
safe as they're flying the plane.
I can see you're already getting to know each other very well. So thank you, Sam. Yes, and okay. So the pilot, you feel comfortable with him. You'd also feel all the staff on the plane, no problem. You'd assume that EasyJet or whoever ran the plane company were professionals and they had things in place. But what if one of the passengers that got on the plane with you got really drunk and started assaulting
more
people?
and more these days, I see on
Exactly.
social media.
But thankfully, thanks to the Health and Safety at Work Act, it means that not just employers or you, the employees, but also the public are also considered
Have
as
their
legal,
responsibilities.
legal responsibility. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you all to perform an assessment activity. Don't worry, it's nothing going to be too difficult.
Good.
You look a bit worried there, Zoe.
Yeah, always worried about that kind of thing.
It's just a tool so that we can see what you know already. So I'm just going to ask you a question, and I'm going to see what the group thinks is the answer to this question. Don't worry, there's no wrong answer. So the question is, what is an accident? Anyone?
What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, Sam, you know everything.
Yeah, you got 5.
I never make accidents.
What is an accident?
Oh, that
so
is-
I don't have personal
Personal experience.
experience in accidents.
Oh,
But
okay.
from what I see of other
It's-
people is when people make a mistake. it's
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
intend.
It's something that isn't planned. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, brilliant. That's a great answer. Yeah, both of you sort of
Is it
on the right lines.
when somebody gets hurt?
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, again, really great work from all of you. You've basically put together the points. So, let's look at basically the official guidelines, which are the definition of an accident is an unplanned event which will cause injury to others. And so you've got that right together. So if an accident happens at work, what should happen next?
Call for help.
Call for help.
Call
Yeah.
999.
Yeah. So we should definitely maybe an ambulance, but maybe just make sure other people are aware that something's happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Possibly first aid, maybe paramedics as well. Okay. And so what else would we need to do?
Tell my boss and possibly write it down, make a report.
Record and report.
Obviously, once the
Fantastic.
person's better.
Yeah, I mean the first
And
priority.
taking both your arms.
Of course, yeah. At the
Quite
earliest
possible.
safe opportunity.
Fantastic. So that's kind of step 2, isn't it? The first step is to take care of the person or persons.
I'm just going to
And
make a
then-
note of that. That's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I ask a
Brilliant.
question?
Yeah.
Are we talking about just health? What if there's an accident involving like items getting damaged, for example?
Yeah, thank you. That is
Yeah.
also included in the legislation. That's a brilliant point, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because an accident doesn't necessarily mean someone's going to get hurt, but it does mean something unplanned that does cause damage, either to a person or to a piece of property.
Okay.
So yeah, that's another good point. Okay. So let's take a look at our second objective, which is to explain the differences between those regulations that make up the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. So the 3 regulations that we're going to look at are RIDDOR, that's RIDDOR, PPE, and COSH, COSHH. So RIDDOR is an acronym for Reporting Injuries, Diseases, and Dangerous Occurrences Regulations. So that's basically a long-winded way of saying make sure you record and report any accidents.
Oh, that's what you said earlier, Layla, isn't it? There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Catchy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But in a way, the fact that it's so uncatchy makes it more memorable.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
It sounds like a place in Lord of the Rings.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
So PPE is the next one, personal protective equipment. We might all be a bit more familiar with that simply because over the last couple of years we have had so many issues with the NHS not having enough PPE. So where there's risks to health at work, all employees should be protected by having any necessary clothing or protective equipment that's required for any risky business in their job. So has anyone here worked in a job where they've needed PPE? Hi Zoe.
Yeah. Obviously, I wear it daily.
Yeah.
Dentistry.
Yeah.
because you're
yeah.
working at a dentist. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you naturally need to protect yourself and to wear things
Yeah.
to the hygiene aspect. You need to protect the customers,
Yeah,
don't
and
you?
we
Patients.
obviously throughout COVID we had to wear a lot more.
Yeah, of course.
Which wasn't very pleasant, but
Necessary.
necessary. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Zoe. So, COSH is the next one, the third regulation that we're going to look at. COSHH, and that stands for the Control of Substances Hazardous to Health. So a lot of places, workplaces, have dangerous substances or dangerous items, things that in your day-to-day job you might have to interact with, and that does put your life at risk. So it could be a gas, it could be a liquid, it could be a dust, and it could even be a microorganism. So if you work in a garden centre, there could be
Like lion
mushrooms.
feces.
Yeah.
You're working with a big organism. I mean,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Hazardous chemicals.
Yeah.
That
do
is
you
exactly
do
right.
you wear PPE when you clean them out?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was.
Is that because
They
it's
eat
cold?
meat.
It was
and
it in
only
the
meat.
pamphlet that
That's
your
so you
boss
can get
gave
COVID.
you?
Actually, it wasn't. That was my own intervention, simply because I didn't want to go home dirty.
Okay, fair enough.
Brilliant.
What?
So,
No, it's just
so thanks to the COSH regulations, this means that employers legally are bound to provide you with anything that protects you from these substances, and also any instructions and manuals like your workbook that tell you how to deal with them. So I'd like to hold a quick quiz now, just to test you all on what you've picked up so far. Which of the regulations in the Health and Safety at Work Act concerns reporting injuries in the workplace?
Riddle?
Brilliant, Zoe. Thank you. Yes, that's
I
right.
might have written it down.
No problem. So maybe Layla, you could answer the next one.
Okay.
So my next question is, which of the regulations in the Health and Safety at Work Act concerns wearing protective equipment in risky work environments?
That would be PPE, protective.
Fantastic.
Personal protective equipment.
That's right. Yep, absolutely. So
Oh, the braille. Yeah. Yeah, I've got it. Thank you.
fantastic. So our final objective regards the factors that affect health and safety in the workplace. So we're going to look at three of those. We've got occupational, environmental, and human. So most workplaces have something that could be considered a risk to people. So can anyone think of an example?
uranium. Yeah.
Technically, he's not wrong.
What?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Yeah. No, you're not missing anything.
More like the drill, like in my workplace.
People work in nuclear power
Skipping
plants.
sound here. I'd like to.
Which is more dangerous, uranium or dentistry?
Yes, uranium is dangerous,
He's got a
and
point.
if there happens to be any at your workplace, your employer should definitely follow the act and the guidelines, and in fact, all of them
Wear
apply
suitable
really.
PPE.
Yeah.
RIDDOR, COSH, and PPE all apply to uranium.
No, I mean,
It was a good example.
To the point
Fair
where I
play.
feel
But
you should
anyway,
already know this if you are
Zoe,
working
your
with uranium.
drill.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zoe, you mentioned.
The dentist drill, dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
Uranium.
It's not a competition.
So earlier on in the session, Layla mentioned another learning objective that I'd like to cover, and it was to find out about dangers in the workplace. So as an employer, you are required to protect your employees and others from hazards. So under the management of health and safety at work regulations, you must identify what could cause injury or illness in the workplace as an employer, and also decide how likely it is that your employees could be in danger, and take action to eliminate that danger. Okay,
Is
so
this what risk assessment is?
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the first step for you, in answer to your original question, Layla, is basically your first step is to contact your employer and to ask them directly about any risks in your environment.
That's it.
Because really they should have already told you when you began the work. Perhaps they did and maybe you've forgotten. But either way, if you ask them, they should tell you. And if they don't, then they are going against the law.
So
by
they're
not-
legally responsible to tell me that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fantastic. So do you feel that answers your question?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
I know that was a more difficult question, but
I think I might have
sure.
put a wave in what we're doing here.
So
um,
as we come to the end of our session today,
okay.
I would like to do a quick summarised learning activity. So I'd just like to ask all my learners something you found interesting today. Zoe, what did you find
I
interesting?
didn't realise that the public were considered in the Health and Safety at Work Act. It's good
Okay.
to know because I feel more protected knowing that there are laws preventing the public from hurting me.
Yeah,
Because obviously they don't like going to the dentist, and it's good to know there's something controlling that. Patients are normally scared and nervous, and they can be really unpredictable. And that's
Brilliant.
fantastic.
fantastic. Really glad you found that interesting. And how are you planning to use this going forward?
I'm going to spread the word and help my colleagues understand that what I've learned today. I'll go back and do a little training session with them. I think it's important that we all do learn something at work. I've often learned from my colleagues when they've been kind enough to share something new. It's good to go back and share.
Fantastic. So I know exactly what you mean. Thank you, Zoe. And Layla, what did you pick up today?
I didn't know that in this country there were laws about what to wear at work.
Yeah,
I find that fascinating.
brilliant.
I think I will go home and find out more. Absolutely fascinating.
Okay.
And I am excited to know that people can be kept safe.
That is so good to hear. Oh, well done. Okay, and can you think of a way that would be helpful going forward?
So when I'm looking for jobs in the future, I guess I would be less afraid to apply for a job where there is dangerous material in the workplace, like uranium.
Yeah.
If you're
Absolutely.
Blind, you're blind.
Yeah, you know.
I am a blind lion.
You are pretty aggressive, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Thank you.
But if you were a blind lion tamer that got
Use
interested
uranium.
in using uranium,
Indeed,
you
indeed.
know that your employer would have to give you PPE.
What did you learn, Sam?
I learned just how dangerous the workplace can be, and I'm much more respectful now of that environment, you know, with the
Fantastic.
dangerous place.
Oh, that's really good to hear.
Lions and uranium.
So in that case, can I ask on a confidence scale again, Zoe, what would you score yourself now?
Out of 5, I'd do
Yeah.
5. If it was more,
Yeah,
Yeah.
carry
If
on.
it was 10.
it would probably be 10.
Okay,
So yeah.
fantastic. Sam, you scored 5 before, so let's say if you were to score your confidence out of 10.
Well, I said 5 out of 5 for out of 10. Out of 10.
I
Yeah.
know, it's confusing.
I'd
I think
probably
we
say
got it
11.
wrong.
Okay.
11.
Amazing.
I will go for 10.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so pleased and so proud that you've all scored more highly than you did the first time round. So if anyone needs any help understanding anything we've covered today, please feel free to email me. And I'm happy to help with anything you need. I've also sent you some feedback forms, so I'd really appreciate it if you could send those back to me. That'd be really
When do
handy.
you want those back by? Cause,
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
brilliant. Were there any questions before we leave?
Yeah, I don't think
Just like to say thank you very much for the training session.
Informative.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Adios.
Very
It's been
informative.
really approachable and informative, and
problem.
it's been nice to meet these guys as well and
Well,
get to know
Oh,
I
what
was
they
going
do.
to say thank
Yeah.
you so much because I've met Sam and we've actually arranged to go on a date.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Fine.
let us know how that goes.
Yeah,
Indeed,
we'll
Yeah.
do it, we'll do it.
We'll have
Okay.
to meet up in Navaranks when you guys.
Of
Yeah,
course,
exactly.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we'll share emails.
Oh,
Yeah,
good dog.
Oh, that's a nice dog.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone,
Yeah.
and
Thank
enjoy
you, Ian.
your
Bye,
lives.
Ian.
Thank
Very
you.
informative.
Goodbye.
Informative, thank you.
Bye.